The biggest news in Hollywood right now, no, it's not Predator Badlands. We're talking about the potential, and I kind of think eventual sale of Warner Brothers is really starting to pick up a little bit because we're starting to see some other suitors line up, some ones that kind of make some sense, other ones that are definitely coming out of left field. But then, of course, okay, we're not going to directly address this, but Paramount, I mean, they're still probably positioned to eventually acquire them, but it's probably going to take a little while. I don't know if a deal closes by the end of the year, but the way that things are picking up, it would make a lot of sense, man. And especially after Warner Brothers Discovery posts a bigger than expected loss ahead of a potential sale or split, because this is obviously going to negatively affect the share prices if they can start and move towards a deal for either some of the networks, some of the IPs, strip some stuff off. The best way would just be for somebody to come in, like a Paramount, to just buy everything up wholesale and just bring it over there. That would be the best, okay, in regards to the shareholders. Would that be the best thing for the industry? Would that be the best thing for creativity? Well, we'll get into that for a little bit, but yes, posting bigger than expected losses on a year that they, oh my God, guys, like they dominated the box office. They had, what was that, 7 or 8 consecutive releases that accrued over $40 million at the domestic box office, and things were going so well for them that they decided to kick Mortal Kombat 2 to the, May of next year. What happened? It's almost like box office math, something that studios can't do, let alone all of their suck-offs on social media. But Warner Brothers Discovery posted a bigger than expected quarterly loss on Thursday as lackluster growth in its streaming unit and ongoing declines in cable television business eclipsed a strong showing from the media giant's studio. The shares rose. Run that back. The company's shares rose nearly 1% in volatile trading, and they have more than doubled in value this year as the company weighs a full or partial sale while advancing plans to split its studio and streaming operations from its shrinking cable TV unit. So yes, after a solid quarter fueled by 2024 Paris Olympics and the first season of crime drama series The Penguin. I know The Penguin was actually quite the ratings grab, but I can't believe they're actually citing that, but all right. WBD streaming business, home to HBO Max, faced a lull in fresh content from July to September. Yeah, because at least they had The Last of Us that started off strong, season 2 we're talking about, and then obviously cratered after episode 2. But nothing A Song in Ice and Fire, George R. R. Martin adaptations. Nothing from any of their other big IPs. Oh, right, Peacemaker. Yeah, now you know why they posted bigger than expected losses, because James Gunn's DC is just absolutely amazing, right? It added 2.3 million streaming subscribers in the third quarter, missing a Visible Alpha's estimate of 2.75 million and lower than the 3.5 million additions in the preceding quarter. So yeah, man, you put all of those numbers up there and it points to, well, a hurting studio that, as we know, is very much for sale, very much open for business. And who is starting to line up? Well, we got Comcast. Comcast is in the works, hires bankers to explore a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. Now line them up with Paramount Skydance. You had NBCUniversal kicking the tires, and now you have one of the other big players. You got Comcast checking in, apparently. Comcast has retained financial advisors and gained access to financial information as it explores a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery studio and streaming businesses, according to 4 sources familiar with the matter. NBC Universal's parent company has hired, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley to evaluate a prospective offer, 2 of the sources said. Comcast has also been granted access to the data room, which contains the financial information that it would need to make a bid, according to 2 of these sources familiar with the matter. So yeah, I would consider this to be a pretty significant development, and one that obviously David Zaslav, he's been gagging for, because he's wanted a bidding war, he's wanted to drive up the stock prices as much as possible, and yeah, I can imagine we're probably heading towards about as high as we can get him in regards to conventional American-based companies, but who else could swoop in? Let's press on with the Comcast news. Comcast President Mike Cavanaugh previously told investors that the company is evaluating media assets that would be contemporary to our existing businesses. He also appeared to dismiss analysts who are skeptical of Comcast winning regulatory approval, saying things are more viable than maybe some of the public commentary that's out there. Industry observers have questioned Comcast's abilities to complete a merger, given that President Donald Trump's social media criticisms of the company's chairman and CEO Brian Roberts. Oh my God, this is like that fear-mongering. Oh my God, Trump with his the fallible ego got Jimmy Kimmel fired. Oh, he's going to shut down the BBC. We cannot let tyranny win. He said bad things about people. Yeah, he said bad things about Elon Musk. And they've done how much business together? I digress. Warner Brothers Discovery declined to answer questions related to a possible sale during the company's third quarter investor call Thursday. However, CEO David Zaslav touted the strength of the film and television studios and predicted HBO Max streaming service would reach 150 million subscribers by the end of the year. I don't know what they have coming, but next year looks quite promising. House of the Dragon Season 3. In January, you've got A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. Now that's like 6 episodes, 6 30-minute episodes. And then also towards the end of the year, you've got the beginning, you've got the start of the Harry Potter series. So yeah, the things are going to be pretty good for them for the time being. Media company, yes, began evaluating its options after receiving a trio of unsolicited offers from Paramount Skydance to acquire the entire company, two sources said. So yes, Comcast officially throwing their hat in the ring on this one, or as much as you can get an official word on this. 4 sources. You know what? I'll go ahead and believe you on that one. But also, it also kind of makes sense just with other things. Okay, now I got to tie in some anecdotal evidence on this one, but normally when you see these types of partnerships, right? So another Warner Brothers property is coming to Comcast Universal Studios Hollywood Fan Fest Nights. Okay, so which one are we talking about here? First major announcement confirms that Scooby-Doo will be a part of the crossover of Universal Monster franchise. So yeah, that kind of makes sense, but we have seen these types of deals gestate in theme parks. How long was Star Wars affiliated with Disneyland and Disney World, Disney parks in general, before a purchase was made in 2012? Marvel, of course, doing business over with Disney. So yeah, we've seen things like this happen before. I'm not saying that this is leaning in one way or another. Universal Studios is absolutely booming, whereas Disney parks are absolutely floundering at this point in time. So yeah, if you're an IP holder and you want to get your name out there and you want to do some business in some theme parks, Universal's probably the place to go at this point in time, because yeah, they've got, well, also, you know, they've got the Harry Potter stuff that's over there that is wildly successful. They've got the brand new Epic Universe, and then they're also bringing in the Nintendo World stuff. So yeah, got a lot of good things going for them, which is why if they're going to be serious about exploring a Warner Brothers bid, I mean, we gotta listen to them, because it doesn't look like it's going to be so much of a one-horse race anymore. It could be 2, but it could also be 3. And this one right here, oh boy, this could end up being the worst. Now, I couldn't find any sources on this, but you know, for as much as I'm not exactly the biggest Tim Pool fan, when it comes to him putting out news or anything under his banner, I'll go ahead and believe him. He'll at least cross his T's and dot his I's on this. So Saudi Arabia's powerful public investment fund is allegedly eyeing a massive move into Hollywood with a $70 billion cash offer to take over Warner Brothers Discovery. And this right here seems incredibly viable. We've seen everything that the public investment fund has sunk their teeth into in recent years, so much in regards to combat sports, professional wrestling. Most recently, there was that $40 billion buyout of Electronic Arts. They're trying to get into everything. So yeah, buying up Warner Brothers with all of those lucrative IPs, and it's just a ready-made introduction into the entertainment market, makes a lot of sense. They got $70 billion to just come in and just throw around, because that is multiple times north of what the market valuation is for Warner Brothers. Because you remember, Skydance paid, $8 billion for Paramount. Warner Brothers is, of course, much larger and much more potentially profitable than Paramount. But I thought I'd seen some valuations somewhere in like the $20 to $30 million range. So yeah, if some of these big dick Saudis want to come over and drop a 70 stack on you, that could very much happen. It could very much be, now that I think about it, probably the best situation, because there's no consolidation, there's no mergers on this one, because yeah, you start to take a look at the landscape, okay, and Warner Brothers sale is a red alert moment for theaters, because yeah, the moment that Warner Brothers gets put under the umbrella of somebody else, we have seen something like this happen before. When 20th Century Fox was bought by Disney, you immediately, okay, because you had the independent studio, you had Fox's independent studio, and you can go ahead and gripe about some of the quality of their films, but they were at least putting stuff out into the theater. Now that they're under the umbrella of Disney, you have, if you take a look since the merger went through, you have removed 10 to 12 big releases every single year. That is a significant amount of opportunities for these studios, for these theaters to make money. You do this with Warner Brothers, are you going to be getting a Weapons? Are you going to be getting a Sinners coming out? How much care and dedication is going to be given to those cheap but wildly profitable horror films. Is it going to be doubling down on the big IPs because they're expecting a return on investment? Absolutely, which means higher cost per project, and your opportunity costs, well, they're just out the window. And so, yeah, a Warner Brothers buyout, I mean, like, as much as I would like a lot of my favorite IPs to be handled more carefully by more competent hands, I also understand that closing down a legendary studio like this is going to put a lot of people out of work, which, in California and Los Angeles, I'm not exactly that upset about, but it's shrinking an industry that cannot afford any more shrinkage. 2025 has been abysmal. There's a few films that are coming out towards the end of the year that might rally a little bit, but when it's all said and done, this is going to be, outside of 2020, probably the worst year on record for Hollywood. And so 2026 needs to be huge, and it probably will be when somebody comes in and buys up Warner Brothers. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.